When we are converting an equation from standard form into slope-intercept form, oops, forgot to write that, slope-intercept form, that means we want it to end up as y equals mx plus b, right? So that's our goal. So there's basically three steps. First step is we subtract the x term from both sides. Now when we say x term, that's the coefficient and the variable. So 18x is the x term on the first one. So this first one I would minus 18x from both sides. Now, I cannot, when I'm adding these up, I have the 3y is equal to, that negative 21 and that negative 18x cannot combine because they are not like terms, so we leave them separated, 18x minus 21. On this other example, example 2, when I'm subtracting the x term over, if the x term is already negative, so that's actually, it's negative 1x is the term, but we don't write the 1. So to subtract negative 1x, I add 1x to both sides. And that leaves me with y equals x plus 5. For this example 2, by the way, this next step, divide all terms by y's coefficient. If y's coefficient is 1, and so it's just written as y, you don't have to do that step. So example 2 is actually complete here. Example 1, we're not done yet. We're closer, but we need step 2 now, which is by y's coefficient, meaning just the number in front or before y. So divide by 3, divide by 3, divide by 3. And now we just need to simplify that. So 18 divided by 3 is 6. Since it's negative 18x, that simplifies. So y equals minus 6x minus, and 21 divided by 3 is 7. So let's submit that answer. Out of curiosity, I'm going to flip the order first just to see if that works. So if I do y equals minus 7 minus 6x, which is backwards, right? Usually we want to put the x term before the constant. Okay, but that actually does work. So see how their solution was put in the way I would have put it as minus 6x minus 7, but it still works either way. So, couple things to watch out for. If your coefficient, that's the number before variable. Right, so 3x means multiply 3 by x. 3 times x, and 3 is the coefficient. And then 3x, that whole piece, that's a term. Like I mentioned earlier, if coefficient is 1, like 1x, we'll just write that as x. And if it's negative 1x, then we'll just write that as negative x. And I don't know if it'll come up in these questions or not, but the other case to watch out for is if you have something like 5x plus y equals 0, then when you subtract the x term over, and again, So y equals minus 5x plus 0. We wouldn't actually write that plus 0 part, so we just write y equals minus 5x. The biggest mistake that I see on these is when people have something like 3x plus 5y equals 7. Right, so if that's the initial question, subtracting the x term, so minus 3x and minus 3x, and then they'll say, okay, so 5y equals, well, 7 minus 3 is 7, 6, 5, 4, so 4x. Right, that's wrong because you can't add unlike terms. So 7 minus 3x, that just stays minus 3x plus 7 if we put it in the right order. If it was 7x minus 3x, then that would equal the 4x. But without that x there, you cannot combine them. Good luck with these, and have a good day.